speed.
Got a banjo in my lap. Oh, you're recording now, I see the light. Hi, my name is Kevin Busker, and I'm the director of the Sonic Snooze.
What do you mean you're not gonna go? You can't just not go.
Why not?
Because I already told everyone you would.
Well, you're just gonna have to deal with it. Because it would take a miracle for me to be changed. Whoa.
It's about a guy who's kind of down on his luck, and he has to deal with this typical office bully.
Ryan, so glad you could make it.
And he gets a time-traveling alarm clock for the future that he uses to win a fight.
You say you want to fight me? For that promotion?
It's every bit as good as the sounds.
Laugh.
Originally, it was just an idea of a shot of a doorway and a guy who kept coming in and leaving frame, and he was getting more and more beat up every time he walked in, and it literally went from there. So I sat down, I started writing it and actually making a plot around it. I spent a good deal of time in pre-production. It's kind of minor things like getting extras and building the flats and stuff like that.
Well, at first we had this set in here that Kevin and a bunch of people built that we decorated the night before, so that was pretty fun. It was only in the movie for like a really short amount of time, but it looked really cool. It was like future.
When I originally wrote it, it wasn't in a broadcasting studio, it was in an office, but then I kind of ran into the whole, I did an office film last year, I didn't really want to do that again. I had in my mind, I really wanted to get it all done at the school. I didn't really think that the location of the workplace was important. It was just basically everything around it, so I ended up moving into the broadcast studio. A little more creative than an office as well. Like, I got to do different jokes, such as the green screen, and then cut to his shirt's all keyed out and stuff like that. Chad Simon plays the lead role of Ryan. He's a friend and fellow student in the program.
We are at the part of the scene where I am down in the dumps, not happy. So what happens is a miracle. Kevin actually first approached me to be his cinematographer, so I was pretty jazzed and pumped for that. We got talking, and I think he just wasn't able to find actors, so I just kind of volunteered and said, yeah, I'll do it. He's got a great script.
Physically, he fit the role perfectly, especially given him the size difference between him and David Wilkins, who plays the role of Shane. So that was perfect as well. Chad's a little guy, so he fit the wimpy kind of stand up for himself kind of guy that I wanted, and it was very David and Goliath-like in that sense.
Kevin, as a director, was awesome. He's just a lot of fun to have around.
But yeah, and just being good friends with him and David, it was helpful to direct them because I get along with them so well already, and they already know me, they know my personality, so they know exactly kind of what I wanted right off the bat when they could read my script. Just based off my sense of humor alone, they kind of knew exactly how I wanted it, so it made things easier during production, casting people that I was good friends with. My cinematographer was Danny Saman, and he did a great job because Danny, again, is a good friend, so he knew exactly what I wanted going in. I didn't have a lot of too crazy shots. There was a lot more cinematic ones at the beginning of the film during the futuristic living room scene and stuff like that. Just kind of a mood setter. Then the rest of it, it's a comedy, and I had a lot of like low contrast lighting. Everything was very evenly lit. I wanted a very sitcom-ish feel with all the shots. So there's a lot of two shots, shot reverse shots, nothing too crazy when it actually starts getting into it. And Christine Kleist, my gaffer, she did a great job, especially at the beginning, during the lighting of the living room scene and stuff like that. It was very colorful. I told her what I wanted originally, and she took it far and above what I was expecting. It looked great.
Just set the time, hit the snooze button, and you'll be sleeping in no time. Lights out for you.
I had to order things, like I had to order the alarm clock, which I had to find because I wanted something, I wasn't capable of making it, so I had to go search for it, and I found, luckily, these little glowing spheric alarm clocks from this Chinese website for like $5 a pop, so those were perfect. Andrea Feltrin was my art director, and I can honestly say that she was invaluable. You know, you write a story, and even in my head, like, they're kind of faceless people. I'm not concerned, I'm not thinking about what they're wearing, and it's the little details that really make things come alive, and they're the things that I wasn't thinking as much about. So it was great to have Andrea come in and help me with those aspects of it, especially clothing, dressing the set at the beginning of the future set, the living room and stuff like that. There's a lot of physical effects in terms of like just the fighting. Basically just trick photography kind of things where Dave's punching him, but his arm is further behind, so it looks like he's connecting, but he's half a foot away from him. We got some mattresses. You know, everything could be as slapstick as I wanted it to. You know, people could be getting knocked into the air or falling straight back and things like that. And I didn't have to be concerned about anyone getting hurt and stuff like that. The flying punch at the end, which is far and above the most ridiculous shot in the whole film.
My favorite part is probably the super crazy flying punch where I'm slow motion, fast motion. You know, it was just a really funny part of the film, and it was fun to do.
There was a good deal of it done in camera, where I pulled Chad through the scene on a dolly so that, you know, all the lighting and stuff matched perfectly, and then I just keyed out the green box that he was on. So
he got me to prop myself up on these apple boxes draped over a green cloth, and he pulled me on this dolly as I had to hold my balance, like going like that. So it looked great on the film. It was a lot of fun to do.
Editing is another one of those things where I've already got the story in my head, right? And then when you sit down and editing, you're like, how does it fit together? That's one of those things where I really find that I start crafting it more and more when I am editing it, and it becomes something different than what was originally in my head, but usually for the better. It's usually, I like it a lot more. Music helped a lot to blend the scenes together a lot. At first, they were kind of bland and they didn't flow that well, but using music with especially a similar tempo and stuff like that, it really helped blend them through. I really wanted it to have kind of a bluish tint to everything. I kind of like that look to films when they're kind of cooler, but I didn't want to make it too unsaturated and look like that. It's not a serious film at all, so I wanted it to be colorful and saturated, but I still wanted to have that little hint of blue. It's very sci-fi-ish, and there is a lot of sci-fi aspects to it, even if it doesn't seem as much like there is. It's kind of ridiculous, and it's a goofy slapstick comedy, but there's a lot of sci-fi elements to it, so I wanted to have like a nice blue tone to everything, make it look very cool. Sound effects were really important to sell a lot of things, like the effects of the time machine itself. That was a difficult one. I had to merge a lot of sound effects to make what I was thinking. Things like the punches. They sound very cartoonish and very out of the box when you first get them, so they take a lot of fiddling with to get something that sounds more real and fitting of the environment that they are in.
I just wanted to say good job, Kevin. It was a great film. You got a lot of laughs. I was super happy to be a part of it. You snooze, you lose.
The whole experience was awesome. It's fun to be doing out what you've been thinking and talking about for so long. It was definitely stressful. There was a lot of stress put on you as the filmmaker and the director, but in the end, I was so happy with all my crew and cast, and everyone did great, and they rallied together and kept their spirits high, especially given some long days. And I think it turned out really good in the end, and I'm very grateful for it. Still recording.
Make me fall off the chair in post. Whoa! I think this interview is just gone. It's scrapped.